What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Off the Bench Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Kimberlin. Today is going to be another mock draft. It's going to be an exciting one because we're going to be doing a 16-team mock draft. Us personally, we have a 16-team league. It jumps from 14 to 16 depending on the year, depending on how many people we have that are returning. First thing, we're going to start out with some news. We have a question of the day from Mr. Ty Lozano asking, what's your take on who's going to be the breakout fantasy rookie quarterback of the year? And after giving this some time and thought, I personally think that given on his situation, Anthony Richardson is going to be the breakout of the year when it comes to rookies. Anthony Richardson is in a great situation with the offensive line that he has. He has Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr. He has weapons around him. And I was watching the video of the Indianapolis Colts war room when they were looking to draft him and how excited they were to get somebody of that kind of talent. So I think that Anthony Richardson, out of all rookie quarterbacks, will have the best year. I think it's a hot take. I know a lot of people want to say Bryce Young, but to me, I think Anthony Richardson is going to be that guy. And it'll be interesting because all three of them are going to be starting. So we're going to get to see who is actually the best year one. Another question that we had coming in is, when did I get into fantasy football and sports in general? So fantasy football to me started in 2015. And in 2015, I went with my wife to her father's house, and he asked me to help him with his draft that he had. I'd never played fantasy football before, but I knew a lot about sports because of my father, who taught me everything I knew. And I said, sure, why not? I think we had like the 4th overall pick. Going into that draft, I had no clue what I was doing because I'd never played before, but I knew Le'Veon Bell was a monster. So I drafted Le'Veon Bell 4th overall, came back around to us. I think we took like AJ Green at the time because AJ Green was good. And we ended up winning the league that first year. I was his co-owner. He let me just run everything for him. Basically, like I made all the waiver wire moves. I started the lineup, and that got me addicted. I was hooked after that. So I started playing, and I earned my own team in that league, and the rest is history. That next year, when I owned my own team, I went into the draft, I think, with the 3rd pick. I drafted Le'Veon Bell again, won the year again. I won it again. 2015 and 2016, back-to-back fantasy champions, and our league is extremely competitive. Like, that's the first time it's ever happened. The league's been going on for over a decade now, and I'm the only person that's ever won it back-to-back. Out of the I believe I've been in it for 8 years now. I have been to the finals 4 different times, and I should have 4 rings, but I only have 2. Craziness happened. So the 3rd time I made it to the finals, which was 3 years ago, I played a guy in our league who was new. It was his first year in, and I completely just wrecked everybody through the playoffs. Like nobody was even close. And then that final game, I had Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, and, it was one of Aaron Rodgers' MVP seasons. Him and Devontae were just going absolutely crazy. I ended up scoring the most points ever in our fantasy league that game. I had 234 points that game, which is the most our league has ever put up in a game. And I was up by 44 points, I believe, going into the last person he had. And, he had Stephon Diggs left. And, that's all that was left. I was already bragging to everyone. I was bragging on Twitter. I was showing all my friends, hey, I just won my 3rd fantasy championship in 5 years. This is it. This is the big news. And Stephon Diggs had the game of his life and scored 1 more point than needed to beat me. So Corey ended up winning that year by 1 point, I believe. It was like 226 to 225 or something crazy like that. He ended up breaking my record that I just broke. And then last year, I sadly made the finals again. I made the fantasy championship against my own father. My dad made the first time to the finals, and I think I needed 20 points to beat him. All I had left was Joe Burrow, and the tragic stuff happened with the Bills, and Joe Burrow didn't get his fantasy week counted. So I didn't get any points for that, and I ended up losing because I technically didn't have a quarterback. So that's my story with fantasy football. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been to the finals 4 times in 8 years. I feel like I know my stuff pretty well. I do a lot of research on this. The final question that we have on the day is, what are some tips and tricks that you'd give someone that is new to fantasy football? To me, a tip that I would give somebody that's starting out is have fun with it. Like, don't think too much into it your first year, because it's a really big learning process, understanding how point systems work, understanding, who's going to get the ball and win. Like, you have to actually watch a lot of football to know these kind of things. And there's a lot of research. So first year, I would just have fun with it, try to learn everything. A tip I'd have and some advice is do your research before the draft a little bit, like, the day before at least. You want to have some kind of knowledge going into it. You don't want to draft people that are going to be suspended or something, like, there could be an injury that just happened. For example, sadly, one of the guys in our league, we were all drafting, everything was going great. And he was the winner the previous year. His name's Andy Bolin. He was the winner the year before. He drafted Andrew Luck, and everybody's, oh, that's a great pick. 5 minutes later, Andrew Luck retired on national television during our draft. And it was the craziest thing we've ever seen in fantasy. So, just have fun with it. Things are going to happen. You're going to lose some. You're going to win some. You can't control it. It's just something that's fun. Your draft is not going to win you or lose you your league, but it is important to draft knowledgeably. Like, you want to draft running backs and receivers early. You don't want to reach on a quarterback, even if it's your favorite player. Quarterbacks, there's so many of them in the league. Everyone's going to do great. And just watch the waiver wire. Try to keep up with the news a little bit, and it'll teach you things. So that's that on that question. We're going to jump into a mock draft, and we're going to see how we do with it. So we're going to draft from the second spot, which is where I'm drafting from this current year. I'm going to show you a little bit of what I would do in this kind of stuff. And after that, I think we have a video that we're going to do with Trevor. So let's go ahead and start with this fantasy draft. The 101 is Christian McCaffrey, which very easily could happen in our own league at home. Christian McCaffrey's great. So, the guy that in our league knows that. He'll probably take him. And if he does, I think that the guy that I'm most comfortable drafting would be Bijan Robinson. I think Bijan's going to be the number 2 overall running back on the season. I know a lot of people think that's crazy, but I'm going to take him here because in this deep of a league, you have to have running backs early. If you don't have running backs, you're not going to have anything. It's going to dry up really quick when it comes to these running backs. So Bijan Robinson first for me is a great pick in my opinion. I think he'll have 400 touches. I think that's good start for our draft. All right, second round. I think the best strategy for us would be to stack up on more running backs. And from what we have, I think Ramondre Stevenson would be a great pick. We're going to jump over and look at the receivers. Nothing's catching my eye. I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be good. I don't think it's worth the second round. But another pick right here that I personally think is going to be a successful pick is Jahmyr Gibbs. I think that when the Lions drafted him, they drafted him to be their workhorse. He's the fastest running back in the league now. So we're going to take him. Going to jump on 2 rookie running backs early. And my personal strategy this season is going to be a robust running back strategy. So I'm going to try to draft 3 running backs in the first 5 rounds. Let's look at what's overall on the board. We got Lamar Jackson, Devontae Smith, Mark Andrews. Tight end goes fast in this league as well. I see some running backs that I think might make it back around to me. So we're going to jump on and see. We're going to take a wide receiver here. And I think the wide receiver that we take in this kind of situation, actually, let's go ahead and jump on. Quarterback will go fast. Our league at home, they also go fast. So we're going to go with Lamar here. Lamar Jackson, tons of upside, great new team. Lamar Jackson is going to be the pick here. So we're sticking with that robust running back strategy. We have Bijan at 1, Jahmyr Gibbs at 2. Have our running backs locked up. It's looking good. We've got our quarterback that we're wanting, Lamar Jackson. I think that's a good place to take him since Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and all them are gone already. We're going to look at what's available overall again. And the board has still got some pretty decent players on it. Let's look at running back. Like I said, we want to go with 3 in the first 5. I think James Conner would be a decent pick. Not really liking that much. You see what I mean by how like it's just super dry already. With what is left, look at receivers. Let's look at tight end. With what is already left, since it's already so dried up, 3 in the first 5. This will be our 4th round pick. I think we're going to go with a tight end here. We're going to go Darren Waller. I think Darren Waller is going to be a stud for the Giants. I think he's going to get tons of targets. He's going to probably have around a 28% target share. I'm going to go ahead and snag him real fast. So just in case that first overall team was looking at that. And now is where we're going to draft our last running back. And to me, I think that if Alvin Kamara does not get into legal trouble this season, he could be a league-winning running back. The guy has averaged over 1,300 yards from scrimmage every single year. So we're going to go right here and draft him as our flex. Alvin Kamara will be our flex if he's on the field. If he's not, we'll try to snag Jamal Williams later in the draft, get that covered for us. That'll give us RB1, so we're in the clear. Coming back around to us, we already have our tight end, running back set up, quarterback. Now that's late, we're going to draft receivers, which, to me is the deepest position in football. We're going to go with high upside receivers since we're not getting any of the complete studs. And looking at what we have here, I think that you could go with Cortland Sutton here, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, any of these rookies to try to pair it with Lamar Jackson. But I think that Michael Thomas stays healthy. He's been the wide receiver 1 overall in fantasy before. It's no reason you couldn't take him right there and be happy with that. And to pair Lamar Jackson with a receiver on his team, I'm going with the best one, in my opinion, which is Odell Beckham. So we're going to have that little 1-2 tandem right there. And let's see what we got. Still need one more flex based on sleeper. ESPN, you only have one, so you can do what you want with that. A guy that I draft early in all my leagues. People think I'm crazy for it. Around the 9th, 10th round, I draft Justin Tucker every single time. People sleep on Justin Tucker. He's the most accurate kicker in history. The guy's a complete stud. For the video purposes, since we're going to auto draft after 10, I'm going to go ahead and take Justin Tucker here to show you what my team would look like in my home league. And the defense that I wouldn't take a defense this early normally, but just to show you guys what I would do, I think the best overall defense for fantasy this season is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. I know a lot of people are going to say the San Francisco 49ers, but to me, I think it'll be that. We're going to go ahead and let the auto draft finish this out. And that is how I would start out my 16-team draft. If any of you are in deep drafts at home, I'll start double running back. I'll try to snag an elite quarterback and tight end in the next 2. So that way you have that positional advantage. 5th pick I would use on a running back that I thought was high upside and a league winner. So that way I have, multiple people to start even on bye week. And then I will go with high upside receivers and my personal favorite player in fantasy football, Justin Tucker. Thank you guys for watching. Be tuned in for the next one. It's going to be a video with me and Trevor talking about some things that you guys could be interested in. So thank you on that. And I will see you guys in the next one.